Kev.
What up? What's
Man.
happening?
Man, I'm just happy to not be working right now.
It's fantastic, man. You've been a busy young man.
Hey, man, they making me earn every penny.
Hey,
Every single penny. Man.
as well they should. As well they
Is that what
should.
they should do? I think they should leave me alone for a minute. I want to quiet quit. They like, nah, I'm fascinated. I'm happy for people that can quiet quit.
Yeah, you can go ahead and quiet quit a little bit later. Why don't you just go ahead and join the Zoom real quick?
Hey, no.
How about this? How about you join the Zoom? It's already in progress there, Reg.
Right? Quiet quit on this Zoom in front of us so we can fire you because we know what's happening. I am all out of sorts, man. I need a haircut. Like I am backwards. Big time backwards. Hey, before we get started, man.
Yeah.
Because I know a couple of the dudes from the barbershop check the show every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to my barber, Tone. I have been getting my hair cut by Tone since I was 12 years old. He is currently in the hospital right now. I will post the link on my Facebook page for those of you who listen to the show that know him to support his recovery. I won't get into his personal effects or whatever, but personal things. But yo, speedy recovery from my brother Tone, man. Like that's my guy. It's over 30 years, same barber. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the spot? Shout the spot out.
In the cut.
Oh, okay.
Shout out
yeah,
to
that's
cut,
what I thought.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Is that Pomona?
Nah, that's West Covina. Right.
Okay.
Now it's right by the mall.
Because they've been there they've been there clearly forever, but yeah, I remember. Oh, wow. Because I think we did some they ran some commercials or something back in the day, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Man,
like, I don't want to go too long on it, but man, my first, the album, the posters for the first record were up in the store. Like they were the first people to buy copies of Hard Work.
Nice.
The next episode, I filmed part of the show. Next episode, a part of my side in the barbershop. Like, yeah,
nice.
It's the spot, man. It's
man.
So.
Getting older, it's been a little rough lately. I've been starting to see, announcements of people who are younger than us, actually, not just younger than me. That are going through it. So, man. Take care of yourself, everybody. You can't control everything, but let's
what you can't
keep you around. Let's keep everybody around here.
Yep. Kev, switching gears. You saw the question. I know you're like, what the hell is he talking about? I said, opening question.
Yes, sir.
Have you made the big decision? Now, I think I've actually asked this on the show before.
Huh.
All right.
Can I guess what the big decision is?
Huh?
Can I have a few guesses on what the big decision is?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Let's do that. That sounds good.
Okay.
Go ahead. What is the big decision? 2 guesses.
Vasectomy.
Okay, that would be bigger than the decision I'm going to talk about, but not it.
I have made the decision on that. That's a big no.
Fair enough. Just let the well run dry is your option. Fair enough. Hey, you got the option to cut. You can cut the flow off and let the well run dry. Let it run dry. All right, cool.
Okay, so it's not vasectomy. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not. What's that?
Related. It's musician. It's musician related.
Oh. I am going all digital.
Okay. We're cleaning out my daughter's room.
Ah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to reorganize places with, what's in different storage places. Like where is this going to be stored? Because that's part of how a house gets messy, in my opinion, is, where do things actually go? Right. And we've been here for Um, shoot, 11 years now. You know, things start to move around and blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
The big decision is, have you gotten rid of those cables that you don't know whether you're ever going to use again or not? That is the big decision. Am I right? I'm right. Everyone that does it, you know it. I know it. What have you done with those random cables that you don't even remember what they were for?
So I have 2 actual DJ bags, like they can hold records, right? Mm-hmm. I have one of them I didn't even use for the last couple of years I was DJing. I had gotten it down to like an actual backpack. Mm-hmm. You know, my equipment footprint was tight.
Yeah.
And I say that to say I now have 2 DJ bags that are filled with cables. Spare cables. And the sad thing is they've been in there so long that I bet you that some of them don't even work anymore. Like if I uncoiled them, they'd probably crack in a million pieces.
Yeah. Well, if you've been listening to Rap 6 Radio for quite a while, you've heard either crackling or hum in my microphone, and that is because I am not buying any more new XLR cables. Y'all gonna have to deal with this. They just gonna have to be positioned in the right place, and if not, then till y'all start paying me.
No, at some point, you're just gonna hear us yelling as loudly as we can. You have to listen at the right time of day.
Dude, I have not made the big decision. So I have 2 crates downstairs full of cables. There's cables there's just random. And the thing that's difficult, I'm turning away from the mic, I apologize. The thing that's difficult is, it's not the cables per se, it's the plugs. Like, what does this plug go to?
Oh.
Right?
You mean like a power adapter?
A power plug, yeah.
Oh, yeah, forget about that.
Adapter.
I just throw those away now because I'm like, I'm not going to find it when I need it, and that's not going to go to the thing that I hope that it works on. You know what I'm saying? I found two. Like, figured out 2 of them, and I put labels on them. Mm-hmm. That was my solution. Now we cleaned out my daughter's room, and like 2 more popped up, and I'm like, what the hell does this thing go to? So I'm gonna have to throw them away. It's like, what do I do with these things? That's the problem I have. Throwing them away seems like horrible, right? I'm like, can I just take them to Goodwill? You know how long you would mourn that loss? About 5 minutes. About 5 American minutes. That's about how long you would feel bad. No, listen, because my house is a mess. But this is the thing. If you ask me, well, Kev, where did you put all your stuff? That's the interesting answer. All my stuff is out in the garage or long gone.
Fair.
I've given up 2/3 of, going on 3/4 of my closet. Mm-hmm. And I'm constantly getting rid of things some form or fashion or another. My biggest problem right now is vinyl, which I'm in the process of hopefully getting to the right places that it needs to go to. Not all of it. Don't get excited, but I tell you what, we'll talk about it later. Got a lot of bad boy records that, need a home.
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
But the one thing, if I say anything, dude, to wifey, there are 2 things. What about all them sneakers? And what about all them cords? I'm like, you need to stop. But I tell you, I'll go on Amazon. I'll buy gadget. If I find a gadget that works for what I need it for, I might buy 1 or 2 more just to have spares. Then immediately lose those spares.
Exactly.
So when I need them, I end up just having to buy them again.
Yep.
And then when I'm looking for something that I really need, I never find that thing, but I do come across the spares. Mm-hmm. And then immediately close that box and lose them again.
It is a vicious cycle of the worst things ever. Listen, I am going to put all of these things in one crate. and I'm just going to take that crate over to the Goodwill. If they don't take them, they don't take them. I'm just going to leave it outside like an abandoned orphan.
Yeah.
And y'all take them and y'all figure out what to do with them. Somebody needs these cables, I'm sure. I'm sure I could post online. Anybody need a 1/4 inch to a XLR combined with a VM. Like, it's like, why do I have, what was I attempting to accomplish,
dude,
to have these crazy cable combinations?
This is a true story. I have a friend who has this blessing in his life of being able to, he moved and he's able to set up a studio for himself where he didn't have one, or he hasn't had one for a long time at least. So he's going through and he's really excited. He's setting up all his music and his equipment and all that stuff. And he texted me the other day because he didn't have RCA. He just didn't happen to have RCA cords at the moment when he kind of needed them, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I had the nerve in my mind to think, well, I don't know if I want to give him my newest RCA cord. Like, because I might use those when I'm 95 years old and I'm asked to DJ the, nursing home Sadie Hawkins dance or something like that. Like, what's really going on? And then I went into a junk drawer, a literal junk drawer, and I'm like, oh, there's 13 RCA cords that are perfectly functional. It just right in front of me.
There. It's
not even my good stash. It wasn't even my good stash.
It's not even the real. It's not even the chronic.
My second string deep bench chords are marquee level.
You don't have the red and black ones. You got this is metal. Like this is a metal tip.
Gold tip. Yeah. Come
gold
on, man.
Tips.
Yeah.
I want to get on with the show. I want to ask you a question though. So Friday was crazy.
Yeah.
We discussed this kind of before we got on the call, and we'll get more into that. But Friday was crazy. So Scotty Scheffler, golfer, was arrested on Friday. Now I heard this news, but I have to ask you because they talked about it on the radio this morning. I was dropping my daughter off. I turned on sports radio, and they weren't talking about basketball, so I could tolerate it. Right? Because when they're talking about the NBA, I'm like, I got to turn it off. Why they never said why they didn't explain why he got arrested. Like, what actually happened? Can you explain to me what happened? Because I have no idea what happened.
As I understand it, and my love of golf runs pretty deep. If you've listened to any episode of this podcast, you're probably saying to yourself within 5-10 minutes of listening, Kev, would you shut up with the golf already?
We're only talking about the arrest. I heard.
So, but he's a good golfer. I think he's actually ranked number 1, and so this is at the PGA Championship there in Louisville, and I guess they had some issues. Someone actually, I think, got run over and unfortunately passed away. Right, so they were. I think they were at some sort of increased attention to traffic patterns or whatever. So he couldn't drive the way he was used to driving to get to wherever he needed to go, and a cop pulled him over, kind of. Sounded like he might have overreacted a little bit, because Scotty Scheffler's white and he was yelling at him. So I don't think that they go for that kind of thing in Kentucky.
I don't think they go for it. I think you just got to lower your voice in Kentucky, regardless of race, color, or creed. But Scheffler kept driving and dragged the cop, and, like, messed the cop up, man. Like, the cop says that he. I don't know, like he, had some pain, swelling, and abrasions to his left wrist and knee. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Now I get it.
But he was on the course later that day.
He was. He was there in the morning for the so okay, now I get it. Yeah. I was like, what did this fool do to be booked for 4 hours and then back on the
Man.
I mean, he got bread, so the 4 hours was like, that I understood that, but I couldn't figure out what he did. That's wild, man.
Friday. I was telling you, I posted something completely unrelated early Friday morning on Facebook, completely logged off and had a very busy day. And I came back that evening, and I think this happened, and a couple other things transpired last Friday.
Anel, my man, our classmate Darius McCurry, has a video allegedly that I don't know, some type of video that came out that day, because my man Left Brain is really good friends with Darius. He said he was talking about Darius. I think this came out on Friday. He said this on Friday. He said, I saw the video. I am not tripping. He looked happy. And that's how friends should react to this type of thing. But obviously nobody knew about Darius. Everybody thought he was talking about the video we're going to talk about later on in the show. So people were like, what? He looked happy. Like, it was just it was kind of an unfortunate timing of a post. And I scrolled like, yo.
The most unfortunate timing in the world.
Yeah, like I was like, he had to reword that joint. He was trying to be vague to protect the homie. And he basically had to oust him like, nah, we going to have to just talk about this. So, yeah, that was wild. All right, look. Yeah, we'll get to the other side and then get to this topic, man. Yeah, let's just get to that. So, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Rap Sucks Radio. Blah, 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 blah.
What up, y'all? You alive on Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Track Life and your fam, Kev Sakota.
Drag you like Scotty Scheffler and Jasmine Crockett, all rolled into one. Cut it out.
Hey,
I'm not in the mood.
Drag. Yo, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you'd like to catch past episodes of our show, you can go to rapsucksradio.com or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. And if you would like to catch us on the internet, right, if you want to follow us, you can follow us at rapsucksradio on Instagram, at rapsucksradio on Threads, and RSR Podcast on Facebook. We are there on all three. We post, every show gets posted online, and occasionally, on rare occasion, we'll post some separate content. But check us out. We're on there, right? We're a good follow. All right. Kev, I shot you a text before the show. I said, I could read the text if I want, but I'm not going to go that far. I just said basically like trying to figure out how to talk about this Puffy thing without being two goofy dudes talking about this Puffy thing. Because I think your response was best. So I'm actually going to read your response to my text. Is that all right with you?
Sure.
All right. Let me find it. It should be near the top of my text. Here we go. Your response was, yeah, the market for goofy reactions is pretty oversaturated. And I am inclined to incredibly agree with that statement. Like watching some of the reactions. Now, most of the reactions are what they should be, right? Like, yo, that's whack. Dude is trash. Game over, right? Mm-hmm. But then you've got the life lesson side of reactions, and then the dudes that, I don't know, didn't get the woman they wanted to date at some point, so they got the she brought this on herself sort of reaction. So I'm gonna try to keep my composure here. You know how I get when these type of things come up. I got to rant on dudes, but I'm not gonna do that, or I'm gonna try not to. So let's get into what we're talking about. Well, topic number one, we're talking about Diddy, right? Reason is, at this stage, this is the reason on this show, not the overall reason. At this point, this is as far as it's been in the news cycle. So I want to say that I want to make clear, we're not talking about this because Diddy apologized. This is just where it is at this point in news, right?
Yeah.
Sean Diddy Combs says he is, quote, truly sorry, unquote, for physically assaulting Cassie Ventura in 2016. Hold on, I want to add the players involved. Sorry, y'all, you guys are listening to live updates. You've done this before. Relax. All right. Source of CNN, players involved, the stupid ass Puffy. Briefly, Puffy or Diddy or whatever his goofy ass name is at this point, apologized on Sunday for physically assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie, 2 days after CNN published exclusive hotel surveillance video from 2016 in which Combs appeared to grab, shove, drag, and kick her. In quotes, he said, "My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video," he said. He said, "I was disgusted then when I did it." Okay. "I'm disgusted now," he added. "I went and sought out professional help. I got into going to therapy, going to rehab. I asked God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry, but I'm committed to being a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry." Here's the thing that's bugged out, and I'm continuing with the article here. Combs previously denied the allegations of assault, which were the basis of the now settled federal lawsuit filed by Cassie in November. An attorney for Ventura, Meredith Firetalk, said in a statement on Sunday following the release of Combs' apology, quote, "Combs' most recent statement is more about himself than the many people he has hurt. When Cassie and multiple other women came forward, he denied everything," facts, "and suggested that his victims were looking for a payday. That he was only compelled to apologize once his repeated denials were proven false shows his pathetic desperation, and no one will be swayed by his disingenuous words." All right. Couldn't have said it better myself. Kev,
I think she's absolutely right. I don't think anybody's been swayed, unless I'm mistaken. First of all, I didn't watch the video, the elevator video. I mean, I read a summary of what's in it. Didn't feel the need to watch it. And also, by the way, for whatever it's worth, multiple people, I would say, I think all of them were dudes, guys, men, were like, the reason why I didn't watch the video, they're like, "I don't need to watch this." Like, yeah. I don't want to see this. Please don't put this, try not to put this anywhere close to my page. You know, like, yeah. And then I didn't, I read about the video apology and didn't watch that either. So, if that makes me unqualified to speak on this, then there it is.
Nah, it's what you thought it was or worse.
Yeah.
For sure.
But from what I understand, he didn't actually apologize he apologized to his so-called fans. He didn't apologize to the woman he did this to in the video apology, which seemed to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And I think they're probably right to feel that way. Sure. I also saw some people who, because of, the fact that I am, that we are still remotely, adjacent to music industry people. Like, I saw a couple people who I respect talking about how, he's learned from his mistakes or whatever like that. And I was like, Dad, I don't think you want to be saying like that's not a good look.
Yeah, just go on and let him take his L, man.
Yeah, exactly.
He earned that L. Just let him take it.
Yeah. Big L.
Look, I think there's some things that don't need to be repeated, right? Like, we all know, at least those of us who, I don't know. I don't want to diss nobody, man. Like, a lot of us feel very strongly about abuse and how you conduct yourself when you're angry in situations like that, whether it's your children or people you have obvious physical power over, because you don't have physical power over every woman. I dare you, double dog dare you, to get mad at Layla Ali and try to scrap with her, right? Like, so when you clearly add an advantage physically, your reactions, you have to conduct yourself a certain way. I'm not saying you can never be angry, but come on, man. But that's neither here nor there. I actually want to take a different angle. Kev, we're having a difficult time as a generation with these things. And let me tell you why. We come from a generation of clear celebrity worship.
Yeah.
That is us. That is our generation and prior. We are from a generation of clear 100% celebrity worship. Right? And I think over the last, what would you say? When was the Cosby situation? What was that? 5 years ago? I'm not sure how long ago that's been. 5, maybe a little longer years ago.
Probably
right?
more than that, yeah.
I'm bad with time.
I think it was social media. I feel like. I don't know, though.
Well, I think his arrest and all that, like the eventual play out of it within the last 10 years, right? Okay. We've been struggling from peer to peer how we're dealing with celebrities that we don't like, or celebrities we like or liked at one time, being caught or it's coming out, like their actions during this time. Like, I've joked that Hugh Hefner died on purpose, like right on cue. Like, I got to get out of here because they're asking questions now. You know what I'm saying? and I got a lot of answers. I'm out. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've said he just laid down. He turned on the news, saw what was happening to Cosby, heard Weinstein, and he just laid down and checked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done. I'm not accusing anyone of anything here. I'm just saying Jack Nicholson, he was a regular at the Playboy Mansion, best friends with Jerry Buss, very, very close, within it. He has been dead, silent, chilling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just saying what's happening is, and what has happened is, our generation is having an extremely difficult time with this because I don't think that we're all the way over or past celebrity worship. Now, the generation under us is giving out L's. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To some degree. But our generation, Kev, I think this Puffy thing, man, is coming on the heels of a generation that's finally accepting that, yo, these dudes was trash. A lot of these dudes was good dudes. A lot of these dudes were not. A lot of these, people were not. And now it's like, all right, fine. This one is bad enough. Because I've seen people defend R. Kelly. I've seen people defend Weinstein. I've seen people defend, Jerome and being a 30-something-year-old with a 17-year-old. Like, I've seen people defend these things over the years. But I'm not seeing anybody defend this as much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to throw in the as much. Because I've seen some people somewhat defend it.
Really? Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, like I just said. I mean, I'd like to believe that social media, the prevalence of social media in I don't know if I'm mischaracterizing what you're saying, but our generations, just because of how old we are, and the fact that we sort of straddle the line of a non-internet or non-social media, deep social media, those two worlds, right? We've lived in both of those worlds. Mm-hmm. Where the younger generation you're talking about does not really remember a time where there was not instant access to all this information, right? For better or for worse. And the generation prior to us, it was very easy to ignore. Even if you did hear the rumors, you could kind of treat them as rumors, right?
Right.
Because I'm sure it sounds like people were talking about Cosby a long time ago.
Long time ago. Well, long before Hannibal Buress. Was it Hannibal Buress that brought it up? Long before him.
Yeah, but before that, right, it was not so, not a terribly well-kept secret, but it was treated as a well-kept secret. You know what I'm saying? So,
sure.
So the fact that we are in this situation, maybe it's just something where it's like, well, we're going to have to get better at kind of navigating that. You know what I mean? Because there's only the most psycho dudes that we know who would think that shit was like just okay. You know
I
what
don't think
mean?
anybody's saying it's okay. I want to be clear on that, by the way. Just 100% clear.
But but then the desire that celebrity worship leads to this desire to somehow rationalize the actions of someone because you like the art that they create or the way they play, the game that they play professionally, or whatever the case may be, right? And I don't have the answers. I mean, I
do.
I'd love to be able to listen to an R. Kelly record or an old Bill Cosby stand-up album. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not have to feel conflicted about it. But that's not the world we live in. That's not and they did that. I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Once I learned about a lot of the reasoning and allegations, Marvin Gaye records have been uncomfortable for me since late in my high school life. Now, have I challenged anybody on it? No. But they have been uncomfortable, man. Like, but I know this about you now. And it's not what you, Puffy lives by this, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Right?
Yeah.
That was his thing. Oh, the truth is going to come out. And then the truth came out. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I bring this up a lot, but I know how crazy celebrity worship is because of how people react to it. I've only had the insults of having my culture questioned once. Right?
In what way?
In the Joe Biden, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black type way. So here's the thing. It's not like I said or did anything Candace Owens level, right? Which would make someone question someone culturally. I don't agree with those type of things, but I understand that, right? Or Clarence Thomas level, right? It's not like I came out and said, we deserve to be slaves or something like that. I just disagree with Magic Johnson. All I did was disagree with Magic Johnson. And that put my entire blackness into question. Now, what's funny about that is, it's laughable, right? But what's funny about that is that's how deep celebrity worship goes into our generations, right? So where it's like, even the slightest disagreement, y'all don't like that, how this is being run, right? Leads to this major reaction. The only reaction I'm seeing, and it's whack, I'm not even challenging it online or whatever, is people saying, oh, well, she was with somebody who cared about her, she left him for Puffy, and this is what happens when you do that, right?
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know how a human being at this stage in their adulthood, especially, because most of these people are close to my age, can even formulate that thought.
Yeah, quite a long walk, to logically take to make it make sense in your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My whole thing is just, if somebody did that to my sister, if somebody did that to my mother, if somebody did that to my auntie, I'd kill them.
Straight up.
Straight up. Maybe maybe some good sense would take hold of me before, that knife went in or that bullet came out or whatever, but that's it. So if I'm going to say that, even hypothetically, then that has to directly affect my reaction whenever somebody who have nothing to do with is proven to be that crazy, right? Do you know what I'm saying? And but I'm perfectly happy not saying anything, because me saying cancel Puffy, his career is over, and all that, I wanted to say that 20 years ago when he was making terrible music. I mean, he's made plenty of songs that I like. He's in many ways responsible for Biggie Smalls, who also had issues too, just like everybody else, right?
Okay. Keep that up.
But it's like, but obviously Bad Boy did a lot of stuff that I think you could make a fairly well-reasoned case that the Bad Boy era was not productive for the hip-hop culture. Are you going to be right 100% of the time, and are you going to win over 100% of the people you try and convince of that? Probably not. Have we tolerated a lot of it? as even if we consider ourselves true hip hop heads, we tolerated a whole hell of a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just him.
Right.
But having that debate is a lot different from the debate over whether it's okay to, walk out into a hotel hallway and beat the living shit out of a young lady. No matter what your reasoning is for doing so.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
I don't care whether you're rich, poor, or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's the issue. It's like, shoot, I know so much about golf that I can't name another black golfer besides Tiger Woods. But if there was a young, black, up-and-coming, highly ranked professional golfer who happened to be the one driving that car instead of Scotty Scheffler, it would have been a different outcome, different news coverage, different story, and different result. Period.
Yes.
Period. Period.
He's not back he's not back out there in the morning.
No.
He's not.
No. And you can claim all you want about we can't argue hypotheticals. I'm going to argue hypothetical. It would not be the same.
It wouldn't. That's not hypothetical. Look, you brought up Biggie. I wrote this on social media. You deleted it. I was like, all right. I said, because I asked this question years ago. I said, all right, well, all the reverence we have for Biggie, are we ready to talk about him beating Lil' Kim? Which is not something that his crew said it. Like he didn't. It was like a it wasn't a well kept secret. They talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What all I'm saying is, it's hard to request wholesome entertainment, but wholesome entertainers is probably the better thing. There's allegations, accusals of Kendrick Lamar, which have been denied vehemently by her own family members. There's accusals that are being lofted on Drake, right, which he's vehemently denied and no one's been able to corroborate, right? So we have the basketball player Josh Giddey, also a person who the coverage would have been a lot different on had had Josh Giddey been Jerome Giddey. We might have some different issues. Check last episode for why that's funny. Maybe not my whole point here is, like, we've brought celebrity, not we. This current time has brought celebrity 2 steps down. Right? Celebrity used to be way up here. They were unattainable human beings. Now they have to find themselves a little more accessible, a little more open about, a little more quote unquote real. Like they're the, I'm too big to say hello to you. People are unfairly, in a lot of cases, taking video chasing you down the street, and your non-reaction is being judged as though you're a bad person. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we've taken celebrity down a couple notches. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
You mean
not we,
like,
but I'm talking
correctly taking it down a couple notches, like in a good way?
I mean, you can
like
say you can answer that as well.
Well, no, I definitely think that the attitude towards celebrity has changed. What's happened during this whole conversation is that a lot of people, and I don't have a issue with it, but posting pictures of D Barnes and asking why we're not talking about Dre. Which, in some ways I'm looking at, I'm like, and it's not in a pro Dre way. I'm just like, well, that's not what the topic of conversation is, but I understand what you're saying. And sure. It's a solid point. I hope that stuff like that is, the kind of thing that makes young men consider more carefully the way they treat everybody.
Thank you. There's the bar.
Are young men going to make mistakes? Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But you get judged, like you said, you get judged for everything. That doesn't mean that you can't say anything, you can't do anything. It's like, no, you can't do the dumb shit. Stop doing that. Just like we talked about last episode. Stop doing it. If you don't like the way you get treated by a young record buying, movie going, social media consuming citizenry that now can judge you at every turn for the stupid shit you do, stop doing stupid shit.
Stop doing stupid shit.
You know, it's not Big Brother. It's Little Brother.
Can we not with the cancel thing?
Well,
can we stop it now?
But that's,
no, man,
you know,
you can't beat women in hallways. Like, no, you can't sexually assault women at all, or anyone for that matter. I mean, and yes, you might find these nuanced things where this person got away with it and this person didn't or whatever. What the reality is, no. If you ask me, none of them get away with it. Nobody gets away with it. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So digging through one group of people's past to qualify another group of person's past is one thing. The reason why I personally brought up Biggie, and I also did bring up Dre. I brought up, 50 Cent's overt smashing of Puffy. But I mean, dude, but you're sitting right next to Dre. Like I guess my thing is, me and my wife were talking, and I said, there's a point in time where you just shut up. You don't say anything. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Bad is bad. There's nothing more to say. To find your moment in this without including, in this particular situation, without including Cassie in your words is disingenuous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? If you're 50 Cent, if you're anybody, without including her name and the fact that this happened to her in your words, it's all disingenuous to me.
Yeah. I mean, I can look in the mirror and say, there are two people in the world who are the most important people to me, and I live with them.
Yeah.
And just them, I have acted in ways to them that I would never be proud of, that I would never brag about. Right. I have not smacked them around or done any of the stuff that Puffy did. Not at all.
Right.
But are there words that I've used or tones of voice that I've used, straight up screamed at certain points in time because I got so upset with something that happened? Yes. Mm-hmm. Is it okay? No. Right. So part of me is like, do I have the right to, I mean, everybody is a, student of the Bible, right? But we want to judge everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And we do plenty of that right here. So I'm not, talking down on that.
I'm about to judge, so go on. And
But that's the thing is that it's like, at some point you got to say, listen, I brought up the way I felt about Puffy's music because I had no power, nor did I think I had any power to control the nonsense that he was pouring upon the hip hop music culture. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even if it angered me in some kind of way, which is probably more seriously stated than it even was. Yeah. But if you tell me that you think that he's a horrible person based on the video that came out, I will look you right in your eye and say, you know what? I agree with that. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Am I going to go beyond that? I don't think I really need to. I mean, it's, I have plenty of, it's like going to your house and saying, hey, how come you don't get rid of these cords? It's like, well, motherfucker, how come you don't get rid of your cords? It's in your house.
No, I would be fine with you coming by. It would make me get rid of the cords. Like, damn, man, I got to get rid of these cords. Kev, listen, we both have had experience in the music industry from different to different degrees, different levels, different angles. Mm-hmm. I find that people that were on the come up were different people when they came up. Now, this is a story as old as time. But I'm not going to say anything profound here. I just want to kind of set the conversation off here. Look, people say money changes people. And I know that there's a different opinion. I have that different opinion, which is no, money exacerbates who you are. Right? Because now you have access to all these things you've always wanted to desire to do, right? So if I get rich and I don't come out of my house, it's probably about what money would do to me, which is like, okay, now I don't have to go nowhere because most times when I go outside, I'm going outside to make money. So, see y'all. If I ever get rich, don't worry about it. Contact me through the internet, right? So, I'm not rich, and that's the way you see me now, personally. But either way, what we're finding out, because a lot of this is across a lot of different lines, and all the ugliness of power, right? All the dark backroom, backstage, underage ugliness that came with the power that a lot of these people have had in the music industry for years, long before rap, long before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fell into hip hop in the mid to late 90s.
Mm.
All of a sudden, there was a major shift change to where the money was different. The money was much higher. Along with the money being higher, right? The access changed. The sponsorships changed. The community itself changed. Now you're standing next to Cher. Now you're standing next to people that you would not normally have stood next to. I just do Cher out there. I don't know why. But, you know what I'm saying? The president is quoting, "We gonna be all right," later on, 10, 15 years later, right? LL Cool J is performing at inaugurations. Rap has gone to this level where now these people who did not have that access before now have it, right? Now we're hearing about the fallout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess my point here is, you said hopefully young men see this and hear this and they conduct themselves differently, right? What I hope is that young men and young people who want to be in the industry in general, what I hope they realize is that you are prey the whole time. The entire time. You're never the predator. You can continue to loft these types of things on others, right? Right? But when it catches up with you, remember, you were always prey. You were always being sought after as a story, a means to a come up, right? So, if not because you're a decent human being, if you can't be a decent human being, protect your own personal space by not putting yourself in a position to be prey. Because right now, that's what Puffy is as well, right? Deservedly so. But what I'm saying is now the story, the money you can be making, the articles you can print, the way that your reaction, we're reacting to it. We don't particularly care who listens or follows. We do this because we enjoy it. But regardless, we do it. So we even have a reaction to this, right? I'm saying what I hope is that this causes a shift in the industry and how people conduct themselves. Because coming up in the record industry, in a small portion I came up in, I can't say I saw this. I certainly didn't. But, there were things bouncing off of the walls about people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, the more access they got, the more that it got louder and louder until that person was somewhere on the other side of that social group. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and let me fully articulate what I was getting at when I was talking about however I may have felt about Puffy's music early on, especially, right? In that heyday era of Bad Boy. The point has nothing to do with his music as much as it is that that popularity bred some contempt from people who thought that they were true hip hop heads, right? But you could take it out of hip hop, you could take it even out of music. It's like that fandom, that level of fandom, it's like when you use that to allow yourself to make excuses for somebody who you're a fan of doing something that is horrendous, try and realize that it's a mistake, that you wouldn't feel the same way about an average person doing the same terrible thing. But also, like, now that I'm the age I'm at, and this is another function of the internet, social media era, and just this torrent of information that we are, it's sometimes drowned by, but also at other times blessed to have access to, is that you find out that someone who did a song or, a record that was a hit record that you fucking hated because you thought it was the most terrible thing that had ever been recorded on tape, has taken their success and done amazing things with the money that it generated or the influence that it gave them to help, students or less advantaged people, or they've gone on to get a PhD or something like that and been able to, create that whatever act 2 or act 3 of their life that they're probably more proud of than even that hit record that they made, 20, 30 years ago. I like hearing those stories. You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm a fan of those stories more than I was ever a fan of, some sort of seemingly superficial, musical success or artistic success of somebody who was in their 20s or 30s when I was. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I hope that as we become the generation that is like, the last one that remembers the time before the internet, this next generation or generations, start to appreciate some of this other, maybe more substantial qualities, these more substantial qualities in the people that they are follow online and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if that's the case because human nature doesn't, I don't think, make it easy for us to do that. But I hope that's the case.
You're hearing more of it. I don't know how true that's going to remain, but you're hearing more and more that, and I don't know. I don't honestly know how I feel about that. Like I don't, of course, I don't live in the extreme, so I don't think that every successful person in the record industry is Puffy.
No, that's why I was saying it's not really about his music, much less the music industry. There are a lot of scumbags in the music industry. Let's face it,
a ton.
But it's certainly not everybody. Like I posted a couple months ago because I saw some video of and I don't know anything about T-Pain as a person. Nothing. He seems to be a fairly mellow dude whenever I see him be interviewed. But I did not like when I wanted Roger Troutman to beat the living shit out of T-Pain when he first started using that auto-tune. For no good reason. He had every right to do it. And he was writing decent songs. They just were not something I enjoyed. But I saw, he hasn't been using it for a long time, I don't think. And I saw a video of him singing Tennessee Whiskey, Chris Stapleton's song, right?
Yeah.
And he murdered it.
He could sing.
And all I said was, any time that I spent hating on T-Pain was time wasted.
It was justified. No, it was justified. I don't have a problem with that. Look, I'm going to tell you right, it's justified. I mean, we all were like, oh, you could do it. You could sing the whole time. Dope. That's how I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I've been around the block long enough to know he had to have some talent. He didn't just walk in and turn on the vocoder, right? Or whatever the filter is. So we knew he could do something, whether it was produced or whatever. And it turned out that he could also really, really sing and, of course, write. But I was like, fine.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to, we'll wrap it up in a minute. We're going to, I guess my question, and not for the answer in the show, but I guess the overarching question is, where does music go from here? We've had R. Kelly, we've had, I know, Bill Cosby and Weinstein, those are two different things, and Weinstein's case is now ongoing or whatever, but we've had, prior to that, we had Ike Turner and of course Marvin Gaye and plenty of other people within. I'm talking within the confines of the type of music I listen to. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, the type of music I listen to, there's even more, right? And I try to stay away from people's political decisions. I know that matters heavily to a lot of people, and it should, because what a person believes politically a lot of times fares on how those politics affect you as a group, right? But I try to separate those things from like sexual assaults, which is like far different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And again, with the accusations levied on Kendrick Lamar now and Drake and what have you, where does the fan base go from here? Right?
They're just going to keep doing what they've been doing. They're going to keep liking, as every year that goes by, what's going to happen is that they're going to keep liking more and more music that I don't understand. And I'm okay with that.
Sure.
And among the community of people who produce that music that they like that I don't understand is going to be, I would say, a consistent percentage of scumbags who in their personal life do horrendously abhorrent shit to women, to people, to kids, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be more of a backlash to it because of this information universe that we live in now. So, is that a good thing? Yeah, probably. Will it stop? Will it reduce it? I'm not sure. I hope it does. But and the other thing we talked about not being goofy, and this is not necessarily the worst thing in the world, so let's contextualize it. But I think it's worth mentioning that guys who are going over the top in their condemnation of Puffy now, that the video's out, it's not going to work out well for you. You're looking a little bit corny, like that performative aspect to it. Like I saw somebody, and I could not for the life of me remember who it was, but it was an MC who, I at the very least respect, but I'm not a huge fan of because I can't even remember who he was. He basically came out and said, listen, I was writing for Puff because he's the one who put me on, or he played an instrumental role in my career. But seeing that video, I got to take an L. I'm not with that. And he left it at that.
Sure.
So there was an economy of words there, nothing over the top, nothing forgiving, nothing, no religion brought into it or any kind of, type of shit. It's just like, hey, I was wrong.
I don't want to prolong the show.
Yeah.
You don't know. You honestly don't know. If something came out, it's not. But if something came out about Odyssey, right? I toured with Odyssey. People would be like, how come you didn't? Because he still was his own. I wouldn't know. He wouldn't know if something came out about me. He wouldn't know. These are things that were happening in confined spaces, right? No, maybe the bodyguard came out and said he knew for Puffy. It's like, all right, man, well, okay. Like, this information is 8 years too late.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, 2016 was the initial, right? So, like, initial investigation, I believe. Whatever. Like, you're late. But the idea that, because you see this all the time, like, right? They're like, LeBron, how come LeBron James was still there? It's like, come on, man. Like, these people, your acquaintances, I don't know what everybody is doing in their house. I tend to be able to be a fairly good judge of character, but who knows? Right? Yeah. So, yeah, like, they're not going to, you just don't know. These people don't know every damn thing about what's going on behind closed doors.
Did you watch the Tom Brady roast? Okay, so the one joke that got all the attention was something that Jeff Ross said about Robert Kraft, which was, if you can't make that joke, why even show up at the Tom Brady fucking roast? But, and it wasn't that big of a deal. All the headlines made it sound like it was a big, big deal. It was not a big deal. The thing that got me laughing almost as hard as anything else besides Nikki Glazer's set was, I think Kevin Hart was talking about because they did it at the Forum. And he talked about all the shit that went down behind the scenes in the bowels of the Great Western Forum during the Showtime era.
Right. Right.
in a uniquely Kevin Hartish, unflatteringly colorful light. And I was like, oh.
Man, again, And it was just normal. Like, we was just like, yeah, that's how you get to act when you're a Laker. Like, it's like, anyway, man, look, we are overtime, so let's go ahead and bounce this out, man. We didn't get to the second topic. But thank y'all for tuning in, man. This has been Rap Sucks Radio. I am your homeboy, Track Life. That dude over there's your fam, Kev Dakota.
Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. She's a queen of alliteration. I'll give her that.
She trademarked that, too.
Good for her.
Yeah,
God bless her.
So that's next. Whoever's running against that woman next, you got your T-shirts. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Catch us on rapsucksradio.com, RSR Podcast on Facebook, at Rapsucks Radio on Threads and on Twitter. We are out of here like last year. On the count of three, we say peace. 1, 2, 3.
Peace.
All of that happened off camera. My bad. All right, peace.